What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Monday, September 27th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate.
And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Oh, and good news, guys. Make sure to stay tuned to the very end of this video because we removed the box that was popping up and blocking the lineup. So now you can see a full lineup using these picks that we made in this video if you stay to the very end. Okay, guys, we have a 2-game slate tonight. So let's take a look at the pitcher position. I like Chris Flexen pitching against the Oakland Athletics. Chris Flexen is only giving up a .699 OPS versus lefties, a .793 OPS versus righties. So the splits aren't great here. He's facing 6 righties here tonight. But what I do like about this pick is that the Athletics have only hit 13 of his last 55 pitches. That's a .236 batting average. And he's only $8,600 FanDuel salary and 100 more on DraftKings. And he has an ERA of 3.56. His record is 13-6 on the season, pitching an average of 91 pitches per game. He's projected at 25.5 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he can score 30 fantasy points or more in this one. And he's averaging 28 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 52, 29, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So you see that he's got some major upside. So I like Chris Flexen here versus the Oakland Athletics. Now the other pitcher that I like on this slate, the splits are much better. Take a look at German Marquez with a 3% pitching advantage over the Washington Nationals. German Marquez is only giving up a .643 OPS versus righties. He's facing 4 righties here tonight. And on top of that, the Nationals have only hit 9 of his last 38 pitches. That's a .237 batting average. And German Marquez is $9,000 FanDuel salary, $800 less on DraftKings, projected at 26 fantasy points here tonight. And I think he can score 30 fantasy points or more in this one. He has an ERA of 4.32. Record is 12-10 on the season. Pitching an average of 87 pitches per game. Averaging 30 fantasy points per game. He scored 9, -3, and 46 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Now, Vegas does think there's going to be 11 runs scored in this game. So that's a high-scoring game. Not normally what you want with your pitcher, but the salary is just about the same as Chris Flexen. The splits are better, and the pitcher versus batter matchup, both of these guys have pretty good pitcher versus batter matchups, although it's a somewhat small sample size. This is a super small slate, so I think it's between Chris Flexen and German Marquez here versus the Washington Nationals.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like Ty France batting against Cole Irving. Ty France is batting a .727 OPS versus lefties, and Cole Irving is giving up a 1.096 OPS versus righties. So I like this pick because Ty France is 4 for 9, batting a .444 batting average, and a 1.278 OPS versus Irving. He's 3,100 FanDuel salary, 1,300 more on DraftKings, projected at 13.2 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 6, 0, and 29 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Ty France here versus Cole Irving. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Ryan McMahon batting against a low salary pitcher, Josiah Gray. Ryan McMahon is batting 8% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .765 OPS versus righties, and Josiah Gray is giving up a .786 OPS versus lefties. Now, Ryan McMahon is 0 for 1 versus Gray. He's 3,300 FanDuel salary, 1,200 more on DraftKings, projected at 10.5 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 3, 10, and 0 fantasy points in his last 3 games. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a high-scoring game. 11 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Ryan McMahon here versus Josiah Gray. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Kyle Seager batting against Cole Irving. Kyle Seager is batting a .687 OPS versus lefties, and Cole Irving, he pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, 15% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.287 OPS versus lefties. Kyle Seager is 3,500 FanDuel salary, 800 more on DraftKings. Oh, and the reason I like this pick is because Kyle Seager is 5 for 10, batting .500 with a 1.4 OPS versus Irving. He's projected at 13.4 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, scored 9, 3, and 0 fantasy points in the last 3 games. But I love this batter versus pitcher matchup, so I like Kyle Seager here versus Cole Irving.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like J.P. Crawford batting against Cole Irving. J.P. Crawford, he's batting a .677 OPS versus lefties, and Cole Irving, we know, pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, 15% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.287 OPS versus lefties. And I like this pick because J.P. Crawford is 5 for 11, batting a .455 batting average and a 1 OPS versus Irving. So I think on this small slate, I'm going to stack lefty batters versus Cole Irving. And J.P. Crawford is 3,000 FanDuel salary, 900 more on DraftKings, projected at 13.1 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 15, 7, and 15 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like J.P. Crawford here versus Cole Irving. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. My home run hitter, my dong of the day, I like Juan Soto with a 13% batting advantage over German Marquez. Juan Soto is batting 6% better versus righty pitchers, batting a 1.122 OPS versus righties, and German Marquez, he's giving up a .687 OPS versus lefties. Juan Soto is 2 for 5 with a 1.571 OPS versus Marquez. He's 4,600 FanDuel salary, 1,400 more on DraftKings, projected at 13.1 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 3, 12, and 22 fantasy points in his last 3 games. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 11 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Juan Soto here versus German Marquez. Okay, if you're looking for a value play at the outfield position, take a look at Andrew Stevenson with a 46% batting advantage over German Marquez. Andrew Stevenson is batting 40% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .901 OPS versus righties, and German Marquez is giving up a .687 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Marquez yet, but Andrew Stevenson is only 2,700 FanDuel salary, 100 less on DraftKings, projected at 8.6 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 4 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 3, 13, and 3 fantasy points in his last 3 games. And we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 11 runs scored in this game, so a lot of fantasy points to go around in this one. So I like Andrew Stevenson here versus German Marquez.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.